Here we are, day one of one of the larger projects I've taken on. This is going to be an in-ground swimming pool. So Hunter and I did a little work last night. We staked out the elevations, the top of these wooden stakes that you see various places in the yard. It's actually out there, are the top of grade. So we're gonna fill dirt up into those points. You can see there's some more out here, they're everywhere. And then these actual metal spikes are the actual size of the pool. It's a 20 by 40. And then on the ground is a line. And this is my excavation that I have to do for the pool that's all the way in here. So they want an extra 3 feet here, and that's so that you're able to get down in there and work to put up the walls and all the stuff that needs to be put in for the pool. So it's just a little extra 3 foot dig around the outside. So day one, just laying everything out, putting in little flags that you see here, little pink flags around. The reason they are there, that shows me the outside of my slab. We're gonna do a concrete slab around the pool. So this tells me how far out I'm gonna be from the pool. And today, the goal is to start removing the topsoil. Topsoil is valuable, and so we wanna remove it, put it aside, and save it for after the project, when we can bring it back in, put it on top of all the fill dirt we're gonna pull out from this pool, and not have to buy any. So here we go with stripping topsoil. So I've got the topsoil stripped off of the pool area, plus 3 feet in either direction, and just wanted to point out what I'm doing. I'm actually not digging to a certain depth right now. I'm digging until there's a color change. So if you look at all this soil, it's organic topsoil. It's kind of got a brownish color to it. And then I'm digging until I see this color down here, that orangey color, and then I know I'm hitting clay and I've got the topsoil. So that's really what this process is just getting this organic material off the top so we can get down to the clay. And I know for a fact, because I've dug here before, there is sand and gravel underneath this and boulders. So we'll see what kind of fun this turns into. But for now, just loading out this this pile of the topsoil into the dump truck and sending it to the back of the property, and then we'll bring it back here when the project's over, so we can, grade out and seed everything. Just a quick update on the progress. We've got the shallow depth. This is actually 3'4" is the depth of the pool in the shallow end, but we're gonna put about 6 to 8 inches of gravel, so I accounted for that as well. So this is what I've dug out so far, and we're just digging out that last 4 feet over here. We'll be set. My pool may pay for itself. We've got some bold flakes in these stones here, so I don't know, we'll see. But I'm also stockpiling all the soil over there, down that little hill. So we're stockpiling everything that's coming out, using the dump truck to bring it over there. And then I'll be able to bring it back over here, whatever I need to backfill, and the remainder will just go towards leveling out that area down there. So that's where we're at, digging out the last bit. Well, here we are, all dug out to our shallow depth, plus 6 to 8 inches for gravel over the entire area, plus an over dig of 3 feet in the length and width to allow us to work behind the wall when the metal walls go up. We need some room to work back here and lay a footer and all kinds of stuff. So that's why it's over dug. I did this morning create a little ramp down into here, so it's easy to get things in and out, and just being in the process of laying out the actual pool size right now. So pretty much gonna go off of this building up here, come out 47 feet off of each corner, and that'll give me that line right there. That gives me that edge that's parallel to the house. That way, as we build and the patios come and all that kind of stuff, it's all in line with the house. And now is the process of laying down the perimeter of the pool, making sure that's square. I'll measure diagonals to get it square. And then also I'll spray paint in all the contour lines of where the deep end is and the slope and all that kind of stuff. So I'll probably check back in at that point once I have the spray painted lines on the ground and try and make sense of them for you there. All right, so here's where we're at with the layout. We marked this line here off of the building over there. So it is it's parallel to the building. And then all these lines are based on the plans that we read. The rectangle you see here is the deep end at 8 feet. These are sloped walls on those 3 sides. That's a sloped ramp that goes up to the shallow end. The shallow end up there is 3'4", and obviously that slopes down to the 8-foot section. So now I think what I'm gonna try and do is crawl in on the ramp, come down here, and start digging in this area first, and then work my way backwards up the ramp until I'm up on the flat area up there. The reason is that as I back out, I'll eventually have in the last moments a flat place to sit the excavator and to work from. So I think that's the best plan. Of course, I've never built an in-ground pool before, so we're gonna find out. So this is day 1 with a crew, and we just spent about an hour to about 2 hours. These guys were hand sculpting everything with shovels, and I was in the machine pulling material out for them and rocks and boulders that they hit and stuff, and I got it all marked out and dug and sculpted, and the metal panels are getting ready to go in, and then we'll be putting gravel around everything as well, and on top of that goes the pool base or vermiculite. So it's starting to look like a pool now. Deep end is 8 feet. I don't know if I mentioned that. Shallow end is 3 feet. All the panels are laid out. You can see there's that's a jet there and a skimmer into the corner. There's a light there. Come around, another jet, another skimmer, come back around corner, another jet on this end. And then the steps will be in this corner over here like a wedding cake style. So everything's laid out, and next step will be to assemble these all with nuts and bolts. So we'll check back in at that point. All right, quick check-in. The walls are assembled. As you can see, they put a ton of bolts that hold it all together, and there's this turnbuckle to adjust the plumb. And it's actually heavy gauge metal. I was surprised at how heavy this stuff is. And there's a couple cutouts for skimmers and different things, but just dropping in now. It's all leveled out. They used a liquid level to level it all out, and now putting in the 2-inch gravel. I'm sorry, 2 inches of gravel. It's 3/4 clean. And then we're also going to use some QP in here as well. But I think he said he wants 1.5 foot of gravel in that base for drainage, which probably is an issue most places. But we had like 1 inch of rain last night, and there's not a drop of water in the bottom of that hole. So we know that our soil is all sand and gravel and just drains like crazy. So that's the assembled walls. Just backfilling with gravel next. One of the things I forgot to mention, or maybe I did mention, I can't remember anymore because it's all a blur, but we blew a cylinder on this guy the other day. So the cylinder seal up here blew out and shot hydraulic fluid all over the place over by the pool. So I just got the cylinder back from the shop. It was a 1-day turnaround, so I can't beat that. And we'll go ahead and put all these parts back together again, and hopefully have a working backhoe this evening, and that way we have it for tomorrow to do some of the reaching into the middle of the pool where the excavator and skid steer can't reach. So let's put this guy back together again. Something always breaks when you do projects like this. Just count on it. So here they are laying the pool base now. Pool base is basically a mixture of Portland cement and vermiculite. Creates basically a concrete surface that's not as hard as concrete, if that makes sense. So there's just a hair of give to it as you walk and push off of it and whatnot. And and obviously it protects the vinyl liner from the rocks and gravel and everything else. So they chose to pour a big dry pile and then mix by hand as they add water and mix it. I have you can see it over here, I have a wonderful cement mixer on the back of my tractor. It does 6 bags in 1 minute. They didn't want to use it, so they're doing it by hand. But this product will go along the entire bottom. Anything that's below that metal wall gets the pool base. They'll even sculpt the angled walls on the deep end with that stuff as well. So that's what's happening today. Probably going to take them a couple hours to just to get this part done. Another thing we're going to work on right now is backfilling this area. So you can see there's some yellow stakes. Oh, I got to reach around the corner there. I got to put dirt up to the top of that stake in order to create a level surface to pour concrete there. So I'm going to start backfilling some of that. We can't backfill the trench around the outside yet because the plumbing still has to be and the gravel and everything still has to be inspected. So I'll try not to drop anything down there as I work. Saturday evening check-in. The shallow end pool base is all flattened out and hardened actually, and the corner there is where the staircase is going to be. They leave that blank because they're going to drop the stairs in made of steel. They'll coat them in like a 1/4 inch of foam, and then the liner goes over it, and then behind the stairs they're going to backfill the whole thing with solid concrete. So it'll be a solid concrete stair. Walls are all sculpted. They ran out of base, so this whole slope here needs to be done on Tuesday, I think it is. Down at the bottom we went with 2 main drains. 2 drains are actually a safety issue. So you can see there's a dug away spot in the center there. That's where there's a T, and a single line runs from that T to the pump house, which is going to be up over here. And that is so that if you put your body over one of these intakes, the other will continue to draw water and not suck you onto the intake and hold you underwater. So that's why that is done like that. The T is exposed so the inspector can see that we did it to code. And then I have begun the rough grading. So got all this filled up around that side. It's all about 4 inches lower than it needs to be because I'm accounting for about 4 inches of gravel that I'm going to put in before there's another 4 inches of concrete. So that's why you see some of the yellow sticks sticking out. So still got a decent pile over there to work from. I don't think I'm going to need all of it, so whatever I don't need is just going to go to filling in this low section where the machine is right now. And that's where we're at. So Tuesday morning, we're going to take all these plumbing lines, dig a trench, and get them back to where the building's going to be, and stubbed out of the ground. And they will finish the base in here, and then the inspector will arrive Tuesday as well to inspect everything. Wednesday, concrete truck comes with about 15 yards of concrete, and you pour over the top of these pipes and the base, you pour a footer all the way around the pool that holds it all in place. And then we'll be thinking about liners at that point, so, and final grade and concrete and all that stuff. So coming together really fast. This has been, I started digging on Monday, I think it was. Monday or Tuesday I started stripping topsoil. So this is what we've gotten in a week. Looking good. Here we are creating a trench that leads to the house. Hunter's down with the shovel, locating all the pipes. Of course, where we need to connect things is also where I ran a propane line, a 30 amp electric line, an internet wire, and a 4-inch sewer. So all of those are kind of up at the higher elevations, like a little above 2 feet. So I got to get below all of these lines. You can see some of them down there. Got to get below these so that I can get the gas and electric for the pool down this trench. So we're trying to get underneath all of these. Puckered up a little bit when that yellow line came up. It's an old gas line, no longer in use, so that was nice. So there's one more pipe right in this area. Is that, can you see the sewer pipe or no?
Yeah, it's on this side.
So this is a electric line going over here, 30 amp. This is an internet low voltage going through that 2-inch. There's a propane line that's right up here in the trench, which we haven't dug that far. And then right down here is a 4-inch sewer line also. So we're We're trying to get underneath all these, and then the rest of the way will be clear digging. Well, the trench is dug. We were kind of dodging storms, and so didn't get a whole lot done, but did get this trench done down to the bottom there, and it took the most time with Hunter watching and shoveling around and whatnot. We were able to get around all these pipes that are up here, so we'll be able to send our stuff for the pool underneath all of this and come up on the side of the house over there, enter in for the electrical, and also the gas meter will be over there, so we'll be able to tee in on that. So I think at this point, since this is kind of a long project, we'll just call this part one of the pool build. So I got to do a little bit more leveling out here, grading, and get ready to put gravel down here. We've got concrete for the collar coming on Friday. It's Tuesday now. So down there at the bottom, there'll be 8 inches of concrete in the bottom of this trench that goes all the way around the outside of the pool. That is basically the anchor that anchors in the bottom of these turnbuckles. And once that concrete hardens, you can turn that turnbuckle and pull the walls in or out, and not have to worry about backfilling. He said we can backfill this without any water in it, and it shouldn't go anywhere. So we are going to backfill it with RCA, recycled crushed aggregate, basically crushed concrete. I just feel like it's a softer product to put in there. It does compact well to support the concrete above it. And if we ever did have to get back in here again, I'd rather dig down through nice soft sand and gravel than these bouldery rock things that I'm pulling up out of the ground here. So that is the, we'll call it part one pool build. Friday, they're gonna come finish the pool base there, do the concrete around the edge, and we'll get all of this plumbing that runs around the pool. We'll get it all brought over to this trench that leads this way, and it will stub up out of the ground in this location. And then once I backfill all this, there'll be a building that sits here by that yellow line, and those pipes will end up coming up right next to it, and that's where they'll enter in for the pump house and for the heater outside. So another quick note about the plumbing before it gets covered in concrete. They did plumb everything separate. So every jet is its own run, every skimmer is its own run, bottom drain own run. That's just a way to really have control over everything and not have tees, so that, you know, your volume of water is being split in half as it goes out to various jets and things. And it also allows us over here to create a nice manifold where we can control or feather back each of the lines, and you know, create more or less water coming out of the jets, and or create more surface suction from the skimmers versus the bottom drain or things like that. So just a little thing to point out if you are doing something like this. Anyway, part one pool done, pool build is done, and we'll come back in a couple days and start part two with the concrete going around the outside. We're moving right along.